Transport Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga will host a post-budget vote panel discussion in Cape Town this morning. Chikunga is setting in motion the implementation of the transport budget with an oversight visit to the National Road Huguenot Tunnel and the Passenger Rail Northern Line projects in Cape Town. Let's take you to Cape Town live this morning, where we find our reporter Nasiphi Same, who joins us live ahead of that panel discussion. Plenty of transport-related issues come up for us, Nasiphi.
Well, Michelle, plenty indeed. I mean, we go to Prasa, thinking of taxi violence and the likes, even potholes. A lot of things that the minister obviously needs to tend to regarding transport throughout the country. We do know that billions have been set aside, and we heard from the minister that they'll be ramping up upgrading of national and provincial roads. But to talk to us more about how they plan to actually tackle some of these challenges, I'm joined by the minister here. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. But what is different with this year's your maiden budget?
First, we received an increased budget of 79.5 billion rand. Then, of course, of that, 98% can get transferred to either provinces or state-owned companies and so on and so forth. So yes, it will be 77.9 billion rand that is actually transferred. And then, of course, we've identified our priorities for the year. You can tell that we only have, if you count from today up until the end of next year, and that will be the end of this administration. So we've got to make sure that we move with speed in achieving those targets that were set for this 5-year term of the 6th administration. Amongst them, of course, is the state of our roads. And it is important that we actually highlight the fact that our roads are categorized into 5, if you want. You've got your national roads, you've got your provincial roads, you've got your district roads, and of course you've got your municipality roads. And if you look at our national roads, they are in good state, and we always say to Sandra, our good road must remain good, and nothing less than that. And then, of course, we've got our provincial roads. They are quite long, 266,000 kilometers. And of that, only 40,000 kilometers is paved. The rest is gravel road. And these need to be maintained. Maintained as paved roads so that we don't have potholes on our paved roads, but also maintained even as unpaved roads, that is your gravel roads. And that is exactly what we'll be paying attention to, with the minimum resources that we have. Because one other thing, road infrastructure is quite expensive to maintain, to construct, rehabilitate. It's quite expensive. But with the minimum that we have planned to ensure that when we close potholes, both at provincial and municipality roads, but also we maintain the gravel road using technology. We are told about nano solution. We're going to pilot it and see whether it's durable enough.
Minister, some of the issues regarding transport is that the Eastern Cape High Court ordered the former Minister of Transport, Mr. Fikile to intervene in the taxi violence that sees Inter-Cape buses being stolen. It seems like nothing has been done. What are the plans to actually heed to that order?
I think as the Department of Transport, as a matter of fact, all that we do is to provide safety. But the security, in terms of the Constitution, it's the responsibility of the police. We've tried whatever possible through the use of our traffic officers, who, as a matter of fact, are not responsible for security, but for safety of our people. Because that's our mandate as the Department of Transport. We ensure through our traffic officers that our roads are safe, that people don't speed, that people don't drink and drive, and so on and so forth. That's what we do. But when it comes to criminality and the security issues, it's a very difficult one. However, through the use of our traffic officers in trying to comply with the court order, of course we will do as much as that, but we can't appoint security companies to provide security to bus companies. Bus companies should do that.
Minister, you visited the Central Corridor, one of the biggest corridors in the Western Cape, and it has been inactive, or a portion of it inactive, since 2019. What is taking the department and PRASA so long in removing the communities that are encroaching the railway line? Land has been made available, particularly for the communities in Langa. What is taking the department to removing those communities?
To be honest, the mandate of PRASA is to provide passenger trains, not to relocate people. It's the responsibility of departments of human settlement. That will be at national, it will be in the case in the Western Cape province and as well as the city. And that's what they have got to do, not PRASA. PRASA can't relocate people, it's not its mandate, it cannot. And it doesn't have land. And what has actually happened in that regard, the city of Cape Town said to us, we're more than willing to assist, however we don't have money. The Human Settlement Department, Minister Kubai, transferred an amount of 101 million rand to say use it. Now they're not. They are saying it's late, they will not be able to spend the money. We're saying spend the money. If you're underspending, then we'll go and negotiate with Treasury for a rollover. But spend the money so that people can actually be moved. So PRASA can't do it. PRASA is responsible for the road infrastructure that it wants. It has actually appointed the contractor. We're waiting and we're concerned because any delay in infrastructure build is costly. And the delays are we don't want them.
Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga, the Minister of Transport, ahead of her post-budget breakfast, obviously we're hearing from the minister that billions have been set aside, not only upgrading road infrastructure, including rail and the likes, and looking at potholes and looking at some of the priorities that they have listed for the 5 years or for this administration.